Voxeliens? What's that? Think Space Invaders with a slight hint of Minecraft in lovely retro style 3D, and you have Voxeliens. Voxeliens is the debut title from Volumes of Fun, an independent game development company in Finland. The main goal in Voxeliens is to destroy the waves of enemies. Sounds very much like Space Invaders, right? Well, for the most part it is. Except now you have to deal with them pesky invaders in a virtual environment. If, like me, when you first saw this, you probably thought, Space Invaders in 3D? Is that really going to work? Well, I can happily say this new radical take works very well. It does take a few moments to become accustomed to this 3D inspired Space Invaders game, but once you do, you'll soon become hooked. It's a fun challenge clearing them waves in 3D, but you also have to account for what angle you set the camera in relation to where the action is. So in that mindset, there's two ways to really go about playing this. You can either think of it as just a straight up 3D Space Invaders, or you can choose to move the camera so that you're always where the action is. I really like this aspect, and for the most part it works really well. After a while you get used to it and you'll be moving the camera without even thinking about how to move your spaceship. But at the same time, when you're between sort of perspectives, and what I mean by that is, when you start off, to move your spaceship you press, arrow key forward, back, left and right, and so. And let's say you move the perspective and do a 180, and it moves the exact same way, as in the controls have adapted to your camera angle, which is great. But if, let's say for example, you're somewhere between where you started and doing a complete 180 somewhere in the middle, the controls do account for the angle you are. It feels kind of awkward. At the same time, there's not a lot you can really do to minimise that. You can tell Volumes of Fun took a lot of care in this aspect to try to minimise what little awkwardness there is, but apart from this minor issue, this is still a great game. What game wouldn't be complete without power-ups? And Voxeliens has a few. The first one is the machine gun power-up thing. Now this makes your spaceship shoot lots of laser bolts, which is very handy. And the second one is sort of the shotgun cluster blast, or whatever you call it, and this shoots a cluster of laser bolts at your enemies. Now the best way to use this power up is in between the square shadows of the spaceships. By doing that, you're bound to hit more of them as you shoot. It's very satisfying using these power ups, and they're obtained by shooting down certain invaders which drop down these power ups. On a side note, I love the pastel shaded look of this game. It gives Voxeliens a soft but not overpowering colourful look to it. So that's my review of Voxeliens. I would totally recommend this 3D Space Invaders inspired game, which you can now download for $4 on volumesofFun.com. I would like to thank Volumes of Fun for providing me with this review copy of Voxeliens. Thank you all for watching.